Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another exciting episode of Entrepreneurial Mindset podcast, a show which is kind of like a shot of espresso towards your entrepreneurial spirit. So I'm your host, Professor Hitendra Chaturvedi, and today we are going to dial up the excitement level to about 11. So I'm very happy to report that today we have the Dean of the Business School, Dean Ohad Kadan here. He, the maestro of the entrepreneurial symphony at our school. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. The reason I wanted him to come here is that some of the things that he has done or is doing at the business school is he's basically taken the entrepreneurial mindset and made certain major transformation within the school. So without further ado, I'm going to turn over to Dean Kadan, and my first question to him is not about W.P. Carey. My first question to you is about, not many people out there know about your childhood. Did you ever land in trouble with your parents? Go ahead.
Okay, I'm not ready for that. First, thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
It's a pleasure. You've been a trailblazer in terms of leading entrepreneurship here and the entrepreneurial mindset here at W.P. Carey and ASU. So it's really is a pleasure to be here and talking to you about this. I should be interviewing you about this, not you interviewing me. In terms of growing up, I was a very good student, I must say.
Why am I not surprised?
Although I didn't like to study a lot, it's just that things came. I mean, I'm embarrassed to say things came.
But you were not a troublemaker?
I was not a troublemaker at all. I was a computer geek.
Okay.
I really liked to code. I was, there in the late 70s, early 80s.
What was the first programming language?
Basic, of course.
Basic,
of
okay.
Course, yeah. Basic was my first language. I grew up in Israel, and definitely I spent hours and hours and days on the screen just coding everything that you can think of, like games and whatever, trying to understand computers. And so it was clear to me, absolutely clear to me, that when I grow up, I want to be a computer science, something in computers.
So many people want to be firemen or astronauts. But he wanted to be a computer engineer.
Yeah, computer engineer. Or it was obvious to me, and as you can see, I'm standing here today, not a computer engineer, right? So it just shows you that when you decide, you think you know what you're doing when you are, even 18 years old. That's what I wanted to do. Things change. Right? In fact, my undergraduate education is in math and computer science. So up until the end of my undergraduate education, I thought I'll be, in computers or math or something like. In fact, during my undergraduate education, I kind of switched more toward the math part as opposed to computers. I kind of got tired of coding. Like I felt that I'm coding that well that I'm kind of it's boring now. So I thought math is more challenging, and at some point I just transitioned into, rather than theoretical math, to be more like an applied mathematician. So I applied my math to financial modeling. So I just had that transition, and so I became a finance professor. I still do a lot of math in my research, but I'm not a pure mathematician. I still code. Like for my research, I have been coding a lot. It's definitely a very useful.
Today?
Today I don't do the coding myself. I work with us. It's like I become. I just don't have time to code. I have a school.
You can use ask AI to do it for you.
Maybe, but over the years I've been coding a lot for my research papers, and I still like to code, but it's become more like a hobby as opposed to to something that I do. I'm a financial economist by training right now, and that's what I do. That's what I teach. I teach finance. I teach and I do research in financial economics. So, but coding is always at the background for me. It's something that I was passionate about when I was young, and I didn't get into trouble.
You never got into trouble?
I mean, almost never. I cannot really remember a case that I did.
Oh my God, he doesn't want to tell us.
No, I was. Sorry, Hitendra.
It's all right. So the reason I ask is because for me, people like me, I can't even imagine not getting into trouble. I was good in studies. I was in computer science. I was top of my class, but I got always into trouble.
Yeah.
Always into trouble. So for somebody like me, since my dad was in the armed forces, we were called the Army Brats. So, but hats off to you. God, your parents must be so happy.
I don't know. I didn't tell them much. So I was not kind of, I didn't deliver a lot of information. I was just doing my things.
Yeah.
And turned out well. I was a good student. I loved math and sciences. I went to a good university. But I did change over the years. Like I switched from being, finance is a relatively recent passion of mine, right?
Yeah.
I discovered it only in my graduate studies as something that I'm interested in. Entrepreneurship has not been something I've been trained on or learned. It is something that I learned about later in my leadership roles. And I discovered that I think I have a DNA of entrepreneur. Although I never launched any company unlike you, I think I would dare to say that I am an entrepreneur at least, or an academic entrepreneur, just by virtue of launching so many programs over the years and so many initiatives. Here at ASU, even before that in my previous institution, I was I get a lot of joy from trying new stuff, launching activities, working through that. Most of the time it's been successful. Sometimes it's not been successful, but that's the nature of entrepreneurship. And I think if everything I tried were to be successful, it would mean that I'm not trying hard enough, or I'm not aiming high enough.
That is correct.
So I kind of embrace everything. I like to succeed. I mean, there's no better joy than actually being successful, but sometimes it doesn't work out.
I know this was kind of what my second question was going to be, is to say that one conversation you and I had is exactly what you told me, is when I said about entrepreneurship. Your first statement to me when I first met you was, but I have never been an entrepreneur. And your next time I met you, you mentioned to me something about entrepreneurial mindset. Most of the people, when they talk about entrepreneurship, they think about tech startup Silicon Valley. But the definition of an entrepreneur is actually much broader and bigger than that. It's all about an entrepreneurial mindset, whether you work as an employee. And I would love to get your take on an entrepreneurial mindset.
Yeah, so I fully agree with that. So here are some statements that would be a risk to that entrepreneurial mindset. So one statement is under-promise and over-deliver. So this statement that, you work in an organization, just make sure to not promise too much so that their expectations are low and that nobody expects much of you. And then whatever you do will be successful, perceived at least as successful. Another statement that I hear a lot in organizations is that if we launch something new, it will cannibalize what we are doing right now. So especially in successful organizations, I think one of the risk to being innovative and entrepreneurial is that you're already doing well. Why should you even innovate? And my answer to both statements is that you have to. So you have to aim high. You have to innovate. You cannot just sit there and enjoy your success, because if you don't innovate, somebody else will, and then you lose what you even have even right now. So that's the issue with cannibalization, right? The idea with cannibalization is that you have a successful product, you have a successful program if you are a business school or a school. And if you create a new program that is even better, now students will migrate to that program. Well, if you don't create that program, USC will, or UCLA, or University of Michigan, or other schools will, and then you will lose your students anyway. And so I always like to be the first. Cannibalization is a possibility, but I think it's just inevitable that you will lose your students eventually. So I prefer to be the first. I prefer to innovate. I prefer to create, to be the first, and actually try to get the students from the other schools to come here, because we are going to be the first to do something. Yes, they're going to follow us at some point, but at least we have got the first mover advantage. So to me, that's really important. And I think this applies to whether you are an entrepreneur creating a business or whether you are an entrepreneur. If you are just working in an organization, you need to adopt this mindset of, I need to innovate, I need to create new things, because that's you have to. This is the only way to actually to survive in this competitive environment. So to me, that's a necessity, actually, as a dean, to do these things.
Yeah.
And so that's what I keep doing.
No, I think that's a great answer. So that kind of leads into my next question. When somebody talks about entrepreneurship and prospective students talk about entrepreneurship, the words that come to mind, Silicon Valley, Stanford, or MIT, or some of the other schools, W.P. Carey has started to do some very interesting stuff. Arizona has started to become what I call Silicon Valley 2.0. You see the 2 at the back? There is a reason behind it. So I'm very keen to get your perspective on if people who are looking at other schools and why W.P. Carey, why Arizona?
So first of all, I have a lot of respect to the other schools that you mentioned, Stanford and other schools on the West Coast, and some, my previous organization, my previous institution, WashU, is a very successful entrepreneurship program. But what we have here is, I think, very unique. It's a combination of the school. We live and work in the number one most innovative university in the United States. That's not me saying it's US News saying for 10 years in a row now. Today it was announced. That's number 10 years in a row. Yeah, okay. It was announced 10 years in a row. So ASU is ranked number one in innovation. So this is in our DNA. And I think this is very important because it's the mindset of the organization that says, you need to innovate. And university, it's not trivial for universities. Universities are kind of conservative creatures, or in the sense that, they are just built to, based on some historical structures. And innovation is not necessarily part of this mindset. You would think that academic institution would think about research, innovation, and so on. But the institution, yes, you'd have all this medical research and other types of research that is all about innovation. But the institution itself tends to be very conservative. Not the case here. ASU has it's kind of engraved in its DNA that it is innovative, that we have to break things and fix them or recreate them. And to me, this was kind of something that I attracted me to ASU, actually, the mindset of the president here, Michael Crow, that basically tells me, you need to innovate. It's required from a dean here to innovate. It's expected. And this is then percolates to what we do every day. It percolates to our programs. So I'd like to highlight several programs, but one of them that maybe I'll start with is actually the program that you are leading, the Master of Science in Entrepreneurship and Innovation, which is, I think, it's just an amazing program in the sense that it kind of integrates studio with entrepreneurship, with business, So basically, we are collaborating with the Herberger School of Design, the Design of the Arts, Herberger Institute, and then we bring different skills into these programs from different types of schools, both the business approach and entrepreneurship and design, and put all of them together and create something that is very, very unique. And it's kind of basically an accelerator or an incubator for students to think about their ideas and develop them to something that may become an actual business over time. So I think you have been moving this program, you're accelerating this program, which has been being developed over the years, but when you joined it just about a year ago, and you have kind of moved it so fast, and we have seen the enrollment grow and partnerships grow around this program, and I'm very excited about this program. It's a graduate program, which I think has a bright future in many ways, thanks to you, Hitendra. But this is not the only thing, right? We have entrepreneurship programs. As for the undergraduate program, we have a BS in entrepreneurship. We have a BA in entrepreneurial leadership. We have within our MBA program, we have a lot of activities around entrepreneurship, and they are all kind of pushing you to think creatively, to innovate, and to potentially either launch a business of your own or become an entrepreneur within another organization. So we have so many touch points, so many opportunities for you as a student to do that. But that's just part of the story. The other part of the story is this 2.0 that you mentioned there, which is look around you. We happen to be right now in one of the most exciting areas in the nation. And just to see the migration of businesses and individuals coming here to Arizona and the types of industries that are moving here. The first one, the biggest one, is obviously semiconductors, right? So it's just to view that, going to North Phoenix and seeing the new TSMC facilities being built there. This is just mind-boggling. They are investing over $60 billion. $60 billion. It's hard to even imagine in three separate, three different fabrication facilities. The government, through the CHIPS Act, is investing more than additional $6 billion. So if you just add up all of this investment, it is just unbelievable. And think about all the retail. First of all the suppliers. So they're bringing with them suppliers. So these suppliers are significant companies. All the logistics behind this, all the retail, all the healthcare, all the education, all the ecosystem that is being built around that. This is just area that is going to be a hub of entrepreneurship, of innovation, because this is going to be state of the art. So they don't announce where these chips are going to go, but I can tell you, I think we kind of know that this is where NVIDIA is buying their chips through TSMC. This is where the chips inside iPhones. So basically, they are locating their facilities here, knowing that we are just one step away from Silicon Valley 1.0. And so this is just a start. But this is one area. Of course, we have Intel here. Intel is currently facing some challenges, but they're also investing more than $20 billion in new facilities, new fabrication facilities, manufacturing facilities here in the Valley, and others too. So we have become kind of a silicon hub. This is one industry, but there are more. Data centers. You have the perfect weather for data centers, renewable energy, automotive, logistical centers. You drive on 303, you will see what's happening there. So it's just so many logistical centers that are being built or have been built there. These are basically distribution centers. We have, because there is this migration in the United States that goes from the coasts inside and south. Phoenix has become a strategic hub for logistics. And so many of the distribution centers are located here. And this kind of helps us develop so many activities. It helps our students. And ASU is at the center of everything that I described here. And the business school is at the center as well, right? So of course, we have a very good and a fantastic school of engineering, the largest in the nation. But not all the jobs are engineering jobs. We have leadership positions. We have supply chain. We have a lot of entrepreneurships running around this, and so we are at the center. And it's, to me as a dean, it's so exciting to be at the hub of all of this thriving area, or this growing area, which feeds into the mindset that I just discussed before, the entrepreneurial mindset. So
great answer. No, I think that's fantastic. I do. You kind of segues into my one of the questions I was going to ask you, which is, with all that's happening today that you just laid out, and you drew an amazing picture, fast forward, what do you think the vision looks like of not only WP Carey and ASU, but also Arizona? Where do you, if you were to paint a picture, there are many students who would be looking to come in. There would be many investors saying this, is this a place I want to invest? There are many faculty who would be keen to say, would I want to come? What's your vision?
Yeah, we have a very detailed vision for the school. It's summarized in our strategic plan, and entrepreneurship is a main innovation, a main strategic initiatives for us. We are to become among the best. We are already among the best. So I actually want to talk about what we have done already. So you asked me a few weeks ago, But we need to showcase our success stories.
Yes.
And I want to I thought about it and I said to myself, let me just take 5 minutes to write a few names just to say, we have the success stories. Let's highlight them. I'm just giving you a few names, okay? Of alums, okay? Greg Vogel, founder and CEO of Land Advisors, one of the largest broker in the nation, okay? Dennis Woodard, founder and CEO of Protect Foods, maker of allergy-friendly baked goods, who is now, you could see it on the shelves of some of the top retailers. Aaron Matos, founder and CEO of Paradox, AI-driven hiring, which is a unicorn as we speak. Dallas Tanner, founder and CEO of Invitation Homes, publicly traded firms, probably the largest build-to-rent company in the nation. He founded it, or at least co-founded it. Jim Fish, CEO of Waste Management, changing the world of recycling, revolution in recycling. Huge company, headquartered in Texas, in Houston, Texas. He's our alum. Dave Jackson and Adam Miller, both are alums. Dave was the CEO of Knight-Swift. Adam is now the following CEO.
Yep.
Changing the world of logistics and trucking. Our alums, both of them. Mark McKenna was the CEO and chairman of Prometheus Biosciences. We just sold to Merck for $11 billion, almost 10.6, I believe, $10.8 billion.
These are all unicorns. These are all majority of them.
And the list goes on. I mean, I'm not even done. I'm just mentioning a few, just to say, we have a vision for the future. We want to be bigger and better and so on and even more well known in that space. But the success stories are there. Maybe we still don't have the Google. We don't have the or the Apple, but we have definitely the unicorns and the successful alums and successful entrepreneurs. And anybody who's watching this podcast or watching this, if you join us, we will help you to become one of those, right? So this is not to say that everybody becomes one of those, but definitely the ecosystem here is conducive to great success. And definitely 5 years down the road, we have to be, even much better in that. We are working on developing that. You are leading a very important initiative in the area of small and medium-sized businesses. To me, it's not just about the unicorns. It's also about the small businesses, the medium businesses. Someday they may become a unicorn, but even if they don't, they are the heart and soul of our economy in the nation and here in the Valley, and we need to develop them. So I think what you're doing in that space is, to me, very, very important. We just launched a center for small and medium-sized businesses. You're doing your SMB labs. I think this is just unbelievable. This is all part of what we're doing here in the area of entrepreneurship. Here at
That's what you call entrepreneurship, which is exactly where I wanted to get to. Was entrepreneurship is about a way of thinking, in a way, and the reason I wanted you to answer that question and define entrepreneurship is because when somebody looks at entrepreneurship, they look at somebody who's on the Valley, techie, coding, pizza, beer, or Coke. Not beer on this campus. But having said that, it's a different way. The definition is different. Somebody who is a finance professor and the dean embodies entrepreneurial thinking and entrepreneurial mindset. So when my students also, I tell them, I said, you can go into a company and still be an entrepreneur. It is not a tag for a techie. It is somebody who takes innovation and turns that. Innovation leads to entrepreneurship, innovation is something that we are top of. So for all the people who are looking at WP Carey today, investors and so on and so forth, what would you tell them about why they should come and be part of this journey?
So, as you said, entrepreneurship is a mindset. Entrepreneurship is not the only thing we do here, but this is the focus of our conversation. So I'll just give you an example of how WP Carey is different and how it is entrepreneurial. And I think that would be just a way to think about what is it that we do here and how we innovate. Everybody is talking about AI.
Yeah.
It's everywhere, right? And so, okay, what do we do what do we do about it in a business school? We teach it, right? We use it. But let's create a program. Let's create a master's program in AI in business. How do you use AI for business to solve business problems? And sounds like a good idea. Oh, we just did it. We just did it a year ago.
Yeah.
We launched it this fall after we we started. We had the first intake this fall of our Master of Science in AI in Business, the first master's degree in AI from a business school in the United States comes from W.P. Carey at ASU. We launched it with more than 65 students here on campus, and the excitement is huge. I can tell you that we basically started thinking about it about a year ago. We have gone through all the proposals, all the approvals very swiftly, and then we officially launched it in April, and very quickly we got a class in. We also launched an undergraduate program in AI in business. And that also just started. And this is just an example of how we embrace change. We embrace innovation. We don't wait. Well, people told me, hey, it will cannibalize this, it will cannibalize that. How can you do this? We'll never get it done on time. Well, we worked with our information systems department. We have an amazing leader there, Peiyu Chen, and an amazing team there. And we just moved through the approval process. Being in a public school, there are a lot of approvals that you need to launch a program. We just, we pushed through that, and then we got it done, fully done in April. And the demand is just unbelievable. Yeah. The excitement is unbelievable. And you see the students in the classroom and say to yourself, well, we have done something.
Your passion is very contagious, by the way. I've never seen you this excited, by the way.
But this is innovation. This is entrepreneurship. We created something that doesn't exist elsewhere. Yeah. Did we create a company? No, we didn't. But we have created something new within our organization. That is correct. That I think is going to be very successful.
I think
and
we should
change the life of a lot of people. So.
Yeah. And I think this whole effort and this innovation being embedded across W.P. Carey is what excited me to come here also. And thank you. Thank you so much for coming today. And thank you so much for sharing. I'm pretty sure that we are going to get lots of hits on this one from the faculty as well as from students, current students, future students, and many people who are looking at Arizona as a destination. So thank you for coming. Thank you so much. And
thank you for having me.
All the best for the vision, and we are there to help you support it.
Thanks, Hitendra. Thanks for having me, and thanks for everything you are doing for WP Carey and for ASU.
Thank you so much.